Hello, and welcome to the ECPE speaking test. This is an advanced level English language proficiency test. This test consists of 5 short stages that last about 5 minutes each. As the test progresses, I'll explain each stage and what you'll need to do. For stage 1, let's just spend a few minutes getting to know each other. My name is Diane, and I will be the first examiner. So what about you?
Hi, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Stefanos. I'm a graduate student at the University of Michigan, and I'm studying applied economics. I'm from Greece, and I've only been here for around 6 months.
All right, well, I'm David. I'm 18. I'm from Venezuela. I have lived here for 7 months, and I have plans to study here international business.
And you both have you both done quite a bit of traveling?
I wouldn't say that much. I mean, just a little bit inside the US. Yeah, I've only been to Chicago, Arizona, and Utah so far, and Michigan, of course.
Of course, yeah. How about you, David?
I have been to Detroit just 3 times and Chicago once, so I would say that I'm just here studying.
And have you ever traveled with a group?
I have.
You have.
That's the latest one I tried. We went to Arizona and Utah on a road trip, actually. So it was with a group. Yeah.
Oh, and how was that?
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing, great. It was really good to get out of the winter and finally see a difference in the weather for once.
Yeah. How about you? Have you ever traveled with a group?
Twice to Detroit.
To Detroit.
But in Chicago, just by myself.
The two of you are students in a high school class that's going on a 3-day trip in the spring. You are on the selection committee to decide the location. 4 locations have made it to the final selection process. Each of you will be given descriptions of 2 of the 4 locations. You will need to describe the 2 locations to the members of the committee so that both will know the 4 locations. And examiner 2 is going to be the school principal. Here is a brief description of the 2 options. You can't look at each other's papers, but feel free to write or take notes on your paper if you want. You don't need to memorize the information. Take about 2 minutes to read through it.
All right.
You're ready.
I think we're set.
Yeah.
Okay. Now each of you will describe the information you have been given. So Stefanos, you will talk about your 2 options. And David, you will talk about your 2 options. Do not just read the list of features, use your own words. Also listen closely as the other test taker shares their information with you because you will need to recommend one of the options. Are there any questions?
No, it's fine.
Who would like to go first?
Me.
Okay.
All right, well, we have 2 choices here. So the first one is, and we can go to a huge city, like is New York City. So if we go here, we can spend a lot of time to go to museums, to go to the Broadway with discount. So it's gonna be a really good deal for us to go there and spend a good time with our friends. As well, we can go to visit the Statue of Liberty. It's one of the hugest marvelous in the world. And I think this is a good deal. I think it's a really good opportunity to know other things. And the other, besides that, it's Aspen in Colorado. It's a totally different city. It has a little colder than New York City. But we can go camping in mountains. We can go there and to meet wild animals, go camping, and do activities that we cannot do in cities. So I would say that this choice is really good for people who like animals, nature, environment, away from people.
Okay, so Stefanos, out of the 2 options you just heard, which would you recommend? And just give the name for now. You can give your reasons later.
Oh, I see. I'm gonna choose Aspen, Colorado then.
Okay, and now you can talk about your 2 options.
All right. So the 2 options that I'm here to present for the spring break are quite different when it comes to spring break destinations, but are actually very interesting, both of them. So there's Orlando, Florida, which is one of the destinations, which One of the characteristics of it is that it will involve a 2-hour flight. So it's not that far to go, but it does involve a flight. So that's an important thing to bear in mind. It's actually very warm, so it's very refreshing to go to a warm weather for once out of the winter, which is very good. Exactly like the museums you mentioned in New York City, we do have an opportunity in Orlando as well to do some discounted activities, which are tickets to Disney World, which is always really fun to do when it comes to coming together with students in order to do this activity. There's an excellent opportunity as well, which is golf lessons, which we could start learning there. There's also a trip to the alligator park, which is, if I'm not mistaken, it's sort of like a zoo. It includes alligators, sort of reptiles. It's very interesting to go there. Our hotel will be near the new shopping mall, so all of us can go and shop there, do whatever we want. The only negative thing I would say is that it's very humid. So it will be refreshing to go to warmer weather, but maybe it's a little bit too humid. So my other choice is Washington, D.C., the capital. It's a little bit longer to go there, but a little bit cost effective because it's by train. So it's going to take us 4 hours to get there. I would say the climate's pretty good. It's 23 degrees, not as warm as Florida, but still quite warm, at least compared to here. There's a White House tour, so if you go to Washington, D.C., you need to go see the White House for sure. There's a walking tour of national monuments. I don't know, even in my mind, Washington, D.C. seems like a monument city, like there's many places to go there to see. There's again a trip to the zoo, similarly to Orlando, we'll have the opportunity to do something similar. There's a museum visit, like New York City, the one you mentioned. But the negative thing in Washington, D.C. is that we need to be very careful because there's high crime rate.
So David, out of the two options you just heard, which would you recommend? And just give the name for now.
I would recommend the first choice, Orlando, Florida.
Okay. So you've had a chance to look over the information, explain it, and you have the suggestion from the other test taker. You now need to choose one of the options from the choices on your own paper. So think of the reasons why you think that is the best option. Remember, there's no correct answer, and you do not have to choose the option that was recommended to you. So have you each made a decision?
I have.
Okay. How about you, David? Have you made
Me
a
too.
decision? Okay. David, which option did you choose?
I would choose Aspen, Colorado.
Okay. And Stefanos?
I think I'm going to stick with my choice, Orlando, Florida.
Orlando. Okay. Now for stage 3, working together, you need to compare and contrast the two options that you have chosen. So David, you've chosen Aspen, and Stefanos, you have chosen Orlando. Now you need to further narrow down the decision. Together, you should discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each option. Your goal is to come to an agreement on just one option. You should discuss and explain the reasons for your decision and why those reasons are important. But you still cannot look at each other's information sheets. And again, remember there's no correct answer. Any questions?
Any questions?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, well,
Both really good places to go, I'll give you that.
I think I can start. So Aspen,
sure.
Colorado, well, in my case, as my opinion, I really like the wild environment, wild animals. So I would enjoy to go here. Because, well, the advantage of to go here is, if, well, of course, if you like to go to camping, go hiking mountains, it would be a really good choice. Optional, there are many rivers, so you can see fish, you can see many animals, and actually about the weather, is a nice weather. It's 16 Celsius. So it's a really good weather to go and play outdoors games. In spite of however, there are one disadvantage. What is students can suffer for altitude sickness. So this is in the mountains, and if any of us has a problem with altitude, that's not a good choice.
You made some really good points, and I think both our destinations, at least the disadvantages are not really important. I mean, altitude sickness, okay, it's an important thing to bear in mind. And my destination is very humid, but I think, for example, as opposed to Washington, D.C., which we disregarded with the high crime rate, these are of lower importance for sure. So, as I said, I think you've made some very good points, but I think that Orlando is actually a better destination to visit for the spring break because it's not far away as well. So it's only a 2-hour flight. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than to go to Aspen. I'm pretty sure of this, but there are many, I think, advantages involved with this decision because it's spring break after all. We need the warm weather. 16 Celsius is not bad for sure, but 31 is, I think everyone will enjoy that coming out of the winter.
I think we are going to, so we are all young people, so I think the cost to go one of this is really important. So you mean Orlando, Florida is more expensive than Aspen, Colorado, right?
You're right, that does make a very good point.
I think so.
But I have to say that the activities that you can do in Orlando are much more diverse, I would say, than the ones that you have to do in Aspen, because
I agree with
Aspen has many interesting activities, I'll give you that, but they're all related to nature and hiking, you said, and watching animals, you know, so it's, I would say, a sort of a narrower field. And when it comes to Orlando, though, there's many different things that you can do, so students can separate in groups and do whatever they want, because we have the opportunity to also learn golf lessons. We have the discounted tickets to Disney World. We have the alligator park, the shopping mall. All of those seem like activities that would benefit different sorts of people equally.
I see.
So that we can.
So I would say that it's an investment. So if you want to enjoy more, you just spend money, but it works.
I'll give you that. It does. It sounds more expensive though because it's the flight, but I do think it's a lot of positives involved in making this decision. What do you think?
I think the characters of this place in particular are much better. I think the only huge disadvantage with this is the money, the cost.
I agree.
But you can reach that. Everyone can reach that. So I think it would be the best choice.
It sounds like you've come to a decision. For stage 4, you need to formally present to Sharon, who is the school principal, the option you have selected and 4 main reasons for choosing that option. You will each need to present 2 reasons and explain why those reasons are important. Your goal is to convince Sharon that the option you chose is the best choice. After your presentation, Sharon will ask you questions about your final decision. You can take 2 to 3 minutes to collaborate and plan which reasons you each will present. You must use English during this planning stage, and you are allowed to look at each other's papers now. Any questions?
No question.
Okay.
We're fine.
Okay. So here we go. We do have a lot of posters to talk. Maybe for now we disregard this.
I would like to take the point of disadvantage with this money.
Yeah.
Because it's make a real situation.
Yeah.
But as well, I would like to say with the advantage. So I would say the only thing we can show is just the money. Mm-hmm. But your museums, the weather, I think is more important.
I think that the weather is definitely one of the points that we should mention. Perhaps, you know what though, maybe we shouldn't mention the flight yet.
I will explain this.
Excellent. Okay, so I will choose the warm weather. I think it's a very important thing to mention. And I think the most important thing to mention out of those, because we have to present 2 only, I think I'm going to go with the shopping mall for this. I'm going to casually mention that there's a lot of activities to do. Yeah.
Sounds
there's
good.
a lot of activities.
So
we do have these 2 activities as well, but we can,
Yeah, to make the main points.
Yeah.
Explain the main points.
Yeah.
I would like to introduce you to Sharon, who is the school principal.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Nice.
I understand you've reached a decision and you are prepared to give me a recommendation.
Yes, we have. Yes, we
Okay.
have. So we decided to take our class trip to Orlando, Florida. And we have some very interesting advantages for this plan to present to you. I believe the most important of those for now is the very warm weather. I think everyone will be very excited to leave the very cold weather and for a change go to a warm weather instead. We also have been provided with some very excellent opportunities to do there, which are golf lessons that we need to take, that we can take, trips that we can take. But I think that the one topic that I would separate from all of those, from all the rest, because it's very interesting, is that the fact that we have a shopping mall exactly next to the hotel that we're going. So that's very interesting because people can also, apart from the activities, go to the shopping mall and do their own shopping with their friends and enjoy.
Although we have discounts to go to Disney World, there is a problem with the money, so with the budget to us, because we are young people, and I think it must be the disadvantage of this to go to this place in particular. But I see this more than an investment, more than spending. So I would say that the advantages are more important than the disadvantages to go to this place in particular.
Well, you've presented some very interesting reasons for your selection. So for the final stage, I just have a few questions I'd like to ask you. So you mentioned that the weather was going to be very nice, very warm. If the weather is very warm and humid, do you think that might be a problem? It might be uncomfortable, we might have a chance of rain. Do you have any concerns about that?
I personally don't have any concern of that, because I think that even though the weather is warm, it's not warm to a level that may cause problems to students because to suffer from extreme heat or something. I think 31 degrees is still bearable and refreshing given the weather change.
Okay. You talked about some activities that would happen on the trip. Golf lessons, shopping mall. Why do you think the students might want to do these activities when we have Disney World so close by?
I think I would say for the diversity. So we are going to in group. So people want to do one thing and people want to do other things. So I would say we need a leadership in this case. So we can choose the best choice for us. And with that is, so one particular group can go to the Disney World, people who like toys, roller coasters, and other people go to go shopping, as people go and buy maybe purses, shirts. So yes, we can do that.
I think this way, yeah, we maximize our chances of satisfying everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One more question. With all these different activities, do you think it might be difficult to organize such a large group of teenagers, high school students?
I think that's a very valid point. This is a concern, but I think there's an excellent way to organize this effectively. The only thing that we need to care about is that make sure we know beforehand which students want to do which activity, and then perhaps having our trip with us a certain number of teachers that they can follow. Each teacher follow a group to each activity so that they're safe as well, and they can monitor the situations should something go wrong.
Yeah, I think to reach an agreement, I would say that the teachers have to split the tasks. So one teacher has to make the point, to explain something we can do, and then to raise your hand as a way to get an agreement.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Your reasons will definitely be taken into consideration before a final decision is made. Okay, this is the end of the speaking test. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.